Hey all, this is Chloe, and this is Word Stitch. Thanks for joining. We are in my kitchen tonight. If you were here yesterday, yes, this is a repeat of yesterday. I am making another cheesecake, so this is going to be cheesecake sprints tonight. I'm still going to have plenty of time in here for you guys to get words in, and hopefully for myself to get words in, but also I have to bake a cheesecake. So I'm going to start by making the crust. If you're wondering why I'm doing this again, it's because if you were watching last night, you know that last night was kind of a disaster. The cheesecake actually didn't come out as bad as I thought. The cheesecake was actually good. If you watch that bubbly Cthulhu mess, it actually tasted good. The crust was good. The pecan pie topping was real bad. So we're doing this all over again. So I have something that's servable for Christmas. So I'm going to start with 2 cups of food processed Cocoa Puffs. We're using Cocoa Puffs tonight because just like last night, we couldn't find any of the damn chocolate graham crackers or chocolate cookies that you're supposed to use if you're doing a chocolate crust. So we do the best we can. So, and I see that we're going to have focus issues. Hopefully that's not going to be a blurry mess the whole time. So that was 2 cups of Cocoa Puffs. And then I am going to add some toasted coconut in it. This coconut did toast a bit dark, but not terribly dark. So we're going to go ahead and use it. And this is 1 melted stick of butter. That is all that is going into this crust. That's all that ever needs to go into a crust. You can add sugar if you want, but I usually don't. And we are going to just mix this up until all of those Cocoa Puff crumbs are wet. And then we're going to smash it into the springform pan. And once I get it mashed into the pan, we'll go ahead and start our first sprint. Hey, Shadow, thanks for joining. Yeah, I had some technical difficulties yesterday with my cheesecake sprints. So we're doing cheesecake sprints again. This is already looking better than yesterday. Yes, Courtney. I don't know if you heard me, if you were on yet a couple minutes ago, but it didn't come out well yesterday, but it wasn't the cheesecake that didn't come out well. The cheesecake came out fine. After I ended yesterday when I was doing dishes, I tasted that pecan pie filling that I did, and it was disgusting. And I'm in Atlanta, and my roommate is a native Georgian, and his mom is from, oh God, he can probably hear me, and I'm gonna forget. Is from Tennessee, is from Kentucky, one of the two. Kentucky, it doesn't. Either way, so having the pecan pie part fail was like the ultimate killer for this. So tonight, I'm just going to do a traditional pecan pie to go on top of it and just bake the two together. It was what I was trying to avoid to make sure that I got a good bake on the cheesecake. After yesterday, though, like, who even cares about getting a good bake on the cheesecake? Like, obviously, that didn't help any. So, Shadow, it is in the videos, I think, here. But the important part is that when I took it out of the oven, it was like breathing. And I know that some things do do that, but this was like nothing I've ever seen before in a cheesecake. And I did some like real dumb stuff. I tried to peel off the like top layer because it was already baked and it looked like the rest of it was not. It was real bad. So actually, this might help some because if I put that pie filling over it, then it'll keep the top from burning. We'll find out. What I'm making is a coconut pecan pie cheesecake. So the cheesecake is going to be coconut. There's some coconut in this crust. I thought a chocolate crust would pair well with this as well. So so that's what we're doing. And again, thankfully the cheesecake itself actually came out okay. So I know that I was on the right track with that. I just have to make the rest of it better. Hey, pronoun. Yes, we are back to the cheesecakes. Okay, so I'm going to wash my hand right quick so I can actually touch my computer, and we will get that first sprint going. Okay. Okay. So, and yeah, Cordy, I feel a lot better this time because it was not as bad as I thought it was last night. So I feel good going into this. Okay. So we are going to sprint for the next 10 minutes. It is 7 past. So I will see you guys at 17 past. Okay, so that was the first sprint. Let me know how you guys did. I actually did some writing. I got 252 words there. So look at me actually being productive and having something to report while making a cheesecake. So I'm working on the batter now, and this is going to call for starting with 3 packs of cream cheese that I can't open. Don't mind me. I have fancy nails now, and so I can't do anything right. This is going to be a longer break for us, but after this break, we will be going quite a bit more quickly. So I've got 1 block. I was smart and took these out of the box before I started filming, but of course, I told myself you should take them out of the wrapper too, because you always struggle with that. But here we are. So tonight, while I'm working on this cheesecake, I'm also working on the 5th book in my Demon Romance series. 4th just came out a couple days ago. This is number 5. It is supposed to be a novella, but like I make my own rules, right? Because I'm indie published, so I can totally decide for myself how long this book is going to be. In this book, I have to have like 6 events in it, so it might end up being a full-length book. So it might be 4.5, it might be 5. And honestly, I don't really know what the rules are there. Like, I feel like normally if you do a 0.5, then there also has to be like another one after it. And I don't know if there's going to be, because it's starting a new series. So I guess I can do that really complicated thing where like I write this book as 4.5 and then I start the next series and then I come back and finish the series. But that's really obnoxious. Okay, so I've got the 3 cream cheeses in there and I need a cup of sugar. I usually have all of my measuring cups all set up. But of course, because I used them all yesterday for round 1, now they're all like scattered around from being washed but not put up yet. Shadow is working on edits, so they wrote 4 words, but it's edits. So those words don't really matter. I mean, like they don't, the fact that there's 4 words doesn't mean that you weren't doing anything. It just means that you've added 4 words in the middle of your edit. Okay, so there is the sugar, and then I want some cornstarch. Always the check that I'm actually using cornstarch because of that dumb thing I do. And I am going to do, let's see, what is this? I'm going to do 2 tablespoons of this. And I'm going to mix it. So pronoun, I keep meaning to ask because you've mentioned it quite a few times, and then like being scatterbrained and distracted by 8 million things, I never think to ask. Are you moving? Is that why you're packing? This is going to get loud for a second. I apologize. Not too loud. It's better than the food processor yesterday, right? I like how you think there, Shadow. Yes, hopefully they are very good words. Oh, pronoun is moving for the first time. The first time I moved, I was 6. So moving has just been a part of my life, my entire life. One second, I'll be right back. I moved when I was 6, and when I was 8, and when I was 10. And then I went to college 2 states away. And then when I got back from college, I moved quite a few times, just like in that area. And then I went back to college. And then after college, the second time, I moved to Atlanta. And since moving to Atlanta, I've also moved. I moved here in 2007, very end of 2007. And since then, I've moved, sweet God, I have moved, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I believe 6 times. But I've been where I am now for a long time, and I'm aiming to stay here a whole bunch longer because it's nice not moving. Moving is always a real stressful thing. And you know, it's never like, that's not what you ever, it puts your life in turmoil. And it sucks packing everything up, especially if you haven't moved in a while. So what I'm trying to say is, if you're feeling a whole bunch of stress right now for moving for the first time, I get it. Oh, so you have moved before, but a long time ago. That doesn't, I mean, if you were little, then it doesn't really count, unless like a scenario where, like mine, where I moved when I was little, a whole bunch of times. So yeah, if this is your first time moving, you know, in a really long time, it is totally valid to say it's your first time moving. Okay, so this is that can of coconut milk that I did yesterday that I thought was bad. And it's funny, I actually watched a bit of yesterday's video today. I never do that. But I'm streaming this on both YouTube and Twitch. And so right now, if I go to my page on Twitch, it's this show that it's showing just as like a teaser for what my channel is. So I definitely like flipped through it and had some good laughs, remembering how bad I messed up yesterday. And there was a moment where I was like, I am never going to put a whole can of coconut milk or coconut cream in a cheesecake again. And here we are. I'm going to let this run for a second because that's real wet. Thank you. I was close. Yeah, I'll give you a call when this is ready. Yes, absolutely. Listen to that go. Okay, so the good news, it's funny because both times I did this, when I dumped that coconut cream in, at first it looked like I had messed up so bad because it was so runny. But it's just, I guess it's just because the cream cheese was so thick and it doesn't immediately blend in. So once I got it mixed, it's okay. It's definitely a thin batter, but not terrible. And just like last night, I am going to reduce this down by 1 egg. Normally in this cheesecake, I would do 3 eggs. Yesterday, I did something real weird where it was an egg and 2 egg whites because of the pecan pie. I'm not doing that recipe tonight. So I'm just doing 2 eggs instead of 3. I put that extra cornstarch in there. Cornstarch, I said this all yesterday, so I apologize if you're hearing the same stuff again. Cornstarch is a thickener. Eggs are a binder. So 2 different things, but similar enough that I feel like I can get away with doing that little bit of substitution for it. And I'm just going to whisk this slightly. And then we will toss that in. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to run this for a minute to get that incorporated. And I'm also going to add a little bit of vanilla and almond extract. Also, I just got almond extract all over me, but that is okay. Okay, so I'm just going to scrape this down and give this one more little run. And then I'm going to show you guys one of the big changes that I'm doing this time. Oh, hold on. I also think I have a cat locked in my bedroom. I'll be right back. Nope, that was a lie. I don't know where she's screaming from. Okay, so that is my very runny batter. But again, this worked yesterday, so I have confidence in this. Oh my God, I don't know where she is though. Okay. Move the KitchenAid out of the way. Okay, so we've got our pan just like normal, or just like yesterday. And we're going to dump all of this in. Give it a good scrape. I promise we're like 2 minutes from the next sprint. I hear her meowing and I have no idea where she is. Oh, I might know. I'll be back again in 2 seconds. I apologize. No? Oh my God. No, I have literally no idea where the cat is screaming from. Okay, so this is all just like it was yesterday. Here's where the difference is. The one thing, or one of the things that got messed up yesterday is I burned the sides of it, or I mean overbaked. So today I'm using what's called a bain-marie or a water bath. What it is you bake the item in a water bath. Oh God, I'm spilling water all over the floor because of course that's how things like this pour. And what this does is it keeps the sides cold for longer. So it extends the baking time so the sides don't burn as much. If you bake cakes and you've ever seen the, I think they're purple now, but the purple cloth strips that Wilton sells that, I can't remember what they're called now. I've got a ton of them too, but they're strips that wrap around the pan. They do the same thing. They just don't last as long. So, I am going full stop with an actual bain-marie here. Of course, the problem with this is it is easy to have a disaster with it. So I've got this measured the amount that I want it to be. And I'm going to pop this out now. So we're going to put that pan in the oven first. But it is really heavy, and I'm using the oven that I don't reach very well. So my roommate's going to do that. So in the meantime, we're going to do another sprint. This time we're going to go for 20 minutes. And when we come back, I'll be working on the pecan pie filling. So I'll see you guys in 20. Okay, so the next part of making this cheesecake is going to be the pecan pie that I completely messed up last time because I used a bad recipe. It wasn't me, it was the recipe. I wasn't thinking about it, but it called for this insane amount of cornstarch. And so it just ended up tasting and feeling like gravy. Like not gravy, but it had that cornstarch taste that gravy with too much cornstarch has. So today I'm just using my old faithful Better Homes and Gardens cookbook. It's where my base for my cheesecake comes from, so I'm going to go with the pecan pie for it. Thankfully, I pulled up this recipe before that timer went off because it turned out that I needed to melt some butter for it. So I've got butter melting right now. And I have never made this recipe before, so I'm going to be reading out of the book as I do this. Also, let me know how you guys did. I did actually get a little bit of words in, but I also did some cleaning. I did some dishes. A friend of mine the other day, this friend of mine, she used to be a roommate of ours. When she first moved in with us, she was terrible at cooking because she's from a food desert, and so she was scared of like everything we made. And now she no longer lives here and is learning to cook like we cook, real good food with like spices and stuff. So the other day we're talking. I'm gonna rinse my hands because eggy. And check that butter. Butter is almost there. Anyway, so the other day we're talking, and she says, you know, she's making really good progress on cooking. Where her big thing is now is like not making a mess when she cooks. So here's the secret to not making a mess when you cook. You never stop cleaning. That's it. Cooking is messy. You're throwing stuff everywhere. You're trying to pour things into other things. Stuff fills. You've got like all of this trash. It does help if you're doing stuff with vegetables to have like a bowl sitting to the side that you put your scraps in. But like there's really nothing you can do to keep the kitchen clean while you cook except clean the kitchen as you cook. So Spence is also baking today, and Shadow's got no new words, but has settled on a main character's sister's names. That is important and also not important. It's a funny thing naming. Sometimes those names just come to you, and great, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes they're everything, and sometimes they just don't matter. Okay, so I've got 3 slightly beaten eggs, and then it wants a cup of corn syrup. I was thinking I was going to have to improvise corn syrup, which is not a difficult thing to do. It's a sugar. But then, there, my butter is melted. But then when I went into my pantry, I discovered I have this whole honkin' bottle of corn syrup. It's from Kroger, which means I was not the one who bought it because I haven't been at a Kroger in years. I'm not trashing on Kroger when I say that. I don't like Kroger, but I'm not saying that to trash on it. I just don't go there. I worked at Publix for years, and we do all of our grocery shopping at Aldi. Alexa, stop. So we're going to mix that in. I got to send off a quick text to my roommate to let him know that the next stage is here. Okay. So I am going to scoop this in. Let me get a spatula. Okay, so it wants the eggs, the corn syrup, the sugar. This recipe calls for white sugar, but I strongly feel like brown sugar is the sugar I should use in this. So that's what I'm going to do. And that's probably going to ruin everything because that's how I am. 2/3 of a cup sugar. Also, my third cup is buried because, again, I've been in this dishes on dishes on dishes mode. Hey, Melanie, thanks for joining. Oh, so Spence, I am making, this is actually my second try at making a coconut pecan pie cheesecake. I made it yesterday, and the funny thing is that, like, as other people in this room will attest, it was a disaster. But then when I tried it this morning to see what I needed to do to fix it, what I thought was the disaster part actually wasn't a disaster. So that makes me feel a lot better about this. I thought I had messed up the cheesecake terribly. It was craziness. What I saw last night was craziness. But actually this morning, the cheesecake was pretty good. It was this pie topping that was bad. So that's why I'm switching recipes. Okay, so there are those. That is that 2/3 of a cup of sugar. And then the butter and the vanilla. So this is, oh my gosh. I'm going to put the vanilla in first. I'll explain that in a minute. So that is melted butter, and this is raw egg. And I'm sure most of you can see where I'm going with that. I don't want to not be actively mixing when I pour this melted butter onto the raw egg, because I don't want to get scrambled eggs here. So yeah, let me just do this in a way that sounds less scrambled eggy and actively mix it while I am pouring that in. That is one of my pro tips for today. We will get another sprint going in probably about 5 minutes here. In case you guys are wondering, I'm not normally on that usual schedule, and it's probably bothering me more than it bothers everybody else. But I really like that schedule I keep. Okay, so I'm going to get this all mixed together. It absolutely does not say to use a fork. I don't remember why I had the fork to begin with. Oh, I had the fork to beat the eggs, and I just kept going with it. It just says mix well. Yeah, this is also, so Melanie just made a comment about the heat. That's a great idea regarding the melting butter and the mixing with the eggs. So something that I used to do a lot of baking. I haven't in a while, but something I used to make a lot was blondies. And blondies, it is critical that you pour these things together properly. The heat mixture is a lot more than just butter, but it's still, yeah, that still just felt like a disaster waiting to happen. It just, whew. Okay, so that is that, and I just need 1.25 cups of pecan halves. I'm using chopped because I'm not made of money. That's a joke. I'm using chopped because it's what I have. And the funny thing with this recipe is the recipe is absolutely pecan pie. But in the list of ingredients, it's like, it says that I can have either 1.25 cups of pecan halves or chopped macadamia nuts, and just putting it out there. That wouldn't be a pecan pie then, would it? And like this cookbook is really tons of these recipes. Like you'll see a recipe for one item, and then underneath it, there will be this little extra recipe that will say, just substitute this for this, and then you get that thing instead. So it's really weird that it didn't have like a little sub recipe on it that said macadamia pie. So the Unknown series, you are on Twitch and you're the only person on Twitch right now, I think, so I apologize that you're by yourself. I am on YouTube, and this channel that I'm streaming on is Word Stitch Write-Ins. I also stream under this name, under Chloe Alice Balkin on YouTube, but this is my channel for word sprints is Word Stitch Write-Ins. Okay, so that is all mixed together, which means that I'm at the stage where I need to get my roommate up here to pull the cheesecake out for me. So give me just a second. Ken, I am ready for you. Just heard him run outside, so that doesn't bode well, but that's okay. So, oh my God, Spence, everybody has this cookbook. Everybody has this or the Betty Crocker or both. I've got both, and I hate the Betty Crocker. Everything I've made out of it that was like a baked good, I hated. So when he comes back in, I'm going to pull that cheesecake out. And then one of the problems with this, so again, one of the issues was the pecan pie was really gross. The other thing was that once everything was mixed together, the coconut just did not come out well. So this is extra coconut that I'm going to put a layer of toasted coconut between the cheesecake and the pecan pie filling. And the third big change I do with it is I was using I'm seeing your agreement about Betty Crocker. Oh my God, it's so bad. So the other thing was I used Cocoa Puffs for the crust because I could not get chocolate graham crackers 3 days before Christmas. So the cocoa flavor didn't come out very well. So I added cocoa powder to the crust. I didn't mention that, and I probably should have. Let me give my roommate a text because I don't think he heard me. But again, I need to get this going. So I baked that cheesecake for about a half hour. It is in that bain marie, which does slow down the baking time a little bit, which is a good thing. So I'm waiting for him to come in. I'm going to send you guys off on another word sprint. And I don't know if this is actually going to get filmed anyways. So let me flip this over. I'm going to give you guys another 20, and we'll see where we stand at that point. So go get some productivity done, and I'll see you guys in 20. Okay, that is time. I'm actually going to set us up a break time right now. We're going to be on break for 7 minutes. And then we are going to do a final 20-minute sprint. That is so close. I'm going to stand back here a little bit and do my best to read. I've got pretty good eyes. So it is in the oven. We did everything over on the stove top. I tried to show the final product, but it was too far away for the camera to get it. But yeah, so it's in, and it's got about 27 minutes left on it. So if all goes well, we're going to have this 7-minute break, and then we're going to have a 20-minute sprint. And then you guys should hopefully be able to see the finished product. Cheesecake is not finished when it first comes out of the oven. It has an extensive cooling process as well. But you'll see what it looks like. I did have a little bit of problem in there. If this recipe comes out well, I am going to actually post it. I'm going to put it on my blog with this video. Hopefully it comes out well because I'd like to have more content for my blog. But I poured the filling on it, and this is definitely something that I should have spooned on because it broke the surface of the cheesecake. So I'm going to have some ribbons of pecan pie going through it, but that's okay. So let me know how you guys did. I got a little bit of writing done in that. Melanie was on her website builder, so that's really good. I've been fussing with my website. I did a big overhaul on it a few months ago when I first went full-time with this writing thing that I haven't been sticking to very well lately, but that's okay. That's okay because I'm writing tonight and I've got goals right now. So, but I did do a massive overhaul on my website, and I actually updated it the other day and everything. So I'm feeling pretty proud of myself for that because I'm normally terrible at stuff like that. Yeah, so I got a little bit of writing done, and in that next 20-minute break, I cleaned the kitchen. I got a couple of dishes still, but most of it is done. So I'm actually going to go back to my room, to my big desktop computer, and do that last sprint, to do that last sprint. I just noticed the dish that I forgot to put up. So I'm feeling better about this. I had that little oopsie when I was pouring it, but the cheesecake looked good when it came out of the oven. It was not Cthulhu yet. There was nothing rising from the depths of it. So hopefully we're okay. Oh, how's my shirt splitting? Yeah. I hope you guys are getting good work done. And we'll actually, it looks like we'll be finishing right about it at 10 p.m. Eastern, like I intended to. So, so a couple other things about cheesecake. When you take it out of the oven, you need to let it cool very slowly. So what'll happen, some cheesecakes will actually have you open the oven door and cool it in the oven. This cheesecake is not that temperamental. Melanie didn't turn her volume back on, so there was nothing. And Shadow got 6 more words, but plenty of good edits. That's fantastic. You also had a Spanish lesson. Was that part of your writing process, your editing process, or did you just have to do some other random thing? I'm washing my hands. I'll be right back. I'm really nuts about washing my hands. So it's got to cool really slowly. So usually I let it sit out on the counter for about 4 hours, not on a rack or anything. The complete opposite of every other baked good. And then I will put it in the fridge at that point. So just a little, whenever you look at a cheesecake recipe, if it's written well, it always has this insane prep time or total time. I guess it's not prep. just like the total time to finish is always this insane number. And it's just that cooling time. You just have to be like present. Um, for this one, what'll happen, I wake up a lot in the middle of the night. So at some point, like, so this will be out at about 10, around 2 o'clock in the morning. Whenever I wake up, then I will just drag my ass out here and put it in the fridge. Shadow, so your Duolingo yelled at you. The funny thing with Duolingo is I've tried it a few times, and at one point, I can't even tell you what language it was, but at one point, I got 100-day streak on it, and then like 3 days later, I forgot, and I never went back. Languages have never been my strong suit. I don't know, I graduated high school 20 years ago, and back then at that school we had to have, like, we were required to have 2 language credits. It was recommended that we have 4 language credits. I did that too. And that is every language I've ever taken. I've taken a few. I feel like I get to that point, whatever, like the second year or the second semester of it would be, I get that far. And then once I hit the third semester, I can't do it anymore. So I have this like real vague knowledge of several languages. I want to learn languages. I want to be somebody who learns languages. I'm not, but I've got other good skills. Baking sometimes is one of them, but not lately. That's okay. All right, so that was that timer. So we're going to set a final 20-minute timer. Sorry, I'm so close to that camera. We're going to go for another 20 minutes on this sprint, and then hopefully I'll have a cheesecake fresh out of the oven for you guys to see. So I will see you then. Okay, we are back, and we have no idea what we are doing at this point. That was the end of the 20-minute timer, though. We're going to take a peek at this, and I don't know.
There's still a lot of wobble in it. Look at that.
Is there still a lot of wobble in it? Oh, but that pie, it's got to come out. Because those pecans are starting to burn.
Okay.
Okay, so the pecans are looking pretty crispy. So we're going to pull this guy out. And there's a lot of wobble in it, but we'll find out.
I'll try to take it as the pan and all.
Yes, I support that. He's going to pull it out by the Bain Marie this time. The last time, he just pulled the cheesecake out of the Bain Marie. That was scary, but was definitely the best call at that point. This would be the best call now. So
it's looking good though.
So it's looking good. We've got those pecans that are a little bit dark. I don't know. You guys can see it there. That's Ken right there.
Hi.
Just a little bit on there. It's looking pretty good.
No, that's looking really good. So you got a little cracking on the side there.
So we got a little cracking on the side.
At the top, the cheesecake went through the pecan topping.
So definitely the cheesecake ate the pie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, when I write this recipe out, if it comes out well, I am going to say spoon the topping on it, and hopefully that will work better. But
probably cook the cheesecake a little longer.
Yeah, maybe cook the cheesecake a little bit longer, which was my concern. Again, that was why I used that other terrible recipe yesterday, was because I was trying to avoid cooking them both at the same time. But everything looks good, and we are out of time because it is about 10 o'clock. So thank you guys for watching. And I will keep you updated on how this turned out. So you guys all have a good night.
I would recommend leaving it in the Bain Marie until the water cools.
Yes, that was my plan as well. This is going to have a real long cooling process. It's probably not going to be finished until the morning. So yes, I have a double oven. It's great, except I can't really reach the top oven that well because I've got short arms and I'm not overly tall.
And that's too low for me.
Yeah, so it's kind of a his and hers oven in this house. So anyways, we're going to go. You guys have a great night, and I will be on tomorrow at 10 a.m. I will also be streaming tomorrow afternoon on Twitch only. I'll be streaming World of Goo. I unfortunately will not be able to stream that on my YouTube channel as I did the other day because I'm switching programs for it. So follow me on Twitch. It's down below. If you want to see me play World of Goo tomorrow. You guys all have a great night. Bye, guys.